Hello, everyone. This is Shailesh, your host from NZ World News, bringing you live today a tribute to a person, to a personality, or to a human, to most take it all. As a human, we are going to talk about a person which is a living legend, according to me. And this is all about him today that we are going to talk because we just lost him for the world point of view, from an identity point of view, that he is not there with us, but in reality, he is with us. And I have this pleasure to bring this episode live with my co-host, Dr. Sheerali. At the moment, she is in India, but she is in from Kiwi and she is a New Zealander. So today I'm going to talk about this amazing person called Sir Ratanji Tata. What a what a tribute we are going to do today, because it is my pleasure and it is that I have the opportunity to talk about him in the first place. So, Dr. Shirali, this is an amazing moment for all of us. And you being in India and you have been now witnessing all of that live, really, it's amazing to talk about this personality, because he's not a person, he's a human, according to me. Like we all call it, when once in a lifetime a person comes on this planet and he contributes immensely to all the humans, to all the humanity aspects that you name it, and he has got it. So let's talk about this Sir Ratanji Tata. First of all, condolences to all of us, because he is a family and we are his family. So I want to start with this condolences to everyone, because we are grieving, but we are also get the opportunity to talk about this person. So, Dr. Shirali, let's start something about this person, a larger than life, a person that we cannot express in words, a person that we cannot even fulfill or complete in one episode, because we have to live his life for 86 years as a number. But I think he has lived many thousands of years, because when you add people to the numbers, when you add ages of people who has been, supported by his goodwill, supported by his, and if you add all those ages, I think he has lived thousands and thousands of years. What do you think,
Absolutely.
Shirali?
No, thanks, Shailesh, first of all, for calling me and for paying this tribute. It's much needed because I am in India and I have been witnessing it live. And we are actually having an auspicious festivals of Navratri going over here. So
Mm.
in between, this unfortunate incident took place, and I wasn't surprised, but I could see, but because I knew that's how we Indians we pay tribute to legends like that. So people didn't have celebrate. People stopped. I remember seeing clippings of people were in between the festivities and people just stopped. People who the young generation who might not have connected with him that well, but everywhere, irrespective of the caste, religion, and all, I could see people just coming together and
Mm.
being very much in mourning and grieving for this loss. I do want to give a bit of a background for the viewers over here, that because I'm sure in New Zealand, because I did not see much stuff
Yeah.
being written about him, unfortunately, in the New Zealand media, because the world media has been talking about it.
Yeah.
So why we are talking about him? Who is he? He is an iconic industrialist, one of the biggest industrialists in the world. And just to give a bit of a context for what I mean by around the world,
Mm.
the Kiwi people, or even maybe I don't know how many of our domestic people even here know that. I'm just going to name some brands his
Yeah.
company has been associated with.
Sure.
So Ratanji Tata has a part of the head of the Tata Group. So
Mm.
some of the iconic brands in which his company has been doing, they are together. I'll give you the first one, Tata Steel. They are having it worldwide, one of the world's largest steel production company.
Mm.
Jaguar Land Rover, one of the most loved cars. People go crazy for that car. But they may not know that it's actually from India.
Yeah.
And then Air India, which is India's largest national airline, that's also now owned by him. And he took, I'm just going to add over here, he took over the company when it was in dire straits, really, really
Mm,
performing poorly. But because it's and on the verge of closure, but he took it over because it's the Indian national airline, and he said that I'll take care of it. So
mm,
that's his, the patriotism for the country. Zudio is a very big brand over here, clothing brand over here.
mm,
That's also owned by him. Starbucks. Now, this is something, which I know people get shocked, but Starbucks, again, worldwide brand, but it's actually a joint venture between Tata Consumer Products and Starbucks Corporation.
yes.
West Side is also a leading fashion and lifestyle owned. That's also part of the Tata Group. Titan Company, and I can go on and on and on, but I just wanted to put it into the context for people who are listening in that
Yeah.
why are we talking about this particular person, and why not? There's so many billionaires, millionaires around the world. So why are we feeling so
Mm,
closely,
mm,
related to him? And you know that I am going to like we are going to talk about his personality or his importance to the world in two parts, the business part and from the humanitarian perspective. And since I'm from more from the business world, so
yeah.
I'm taking this advantage of because this is how I'll be teaching my students and giving live example of what I mean by this. So again, few things which I want people to know that especially when because I know that people from different parts of the world would be listening to us. His contribution to the economy, to the
Mm,
startup. For
yeah.
startups is something, even New Zealand's backbone are small industries, and
Yes.
India's startup industry is also quite huge. So he has invested a lot in around 24 startups over here, which include famous ones like Ola, Urban Company, Lenskart. So
Yes.
he saw the potential at a late age as well that we do need to have some kind of startups.
Mm,
And 45 investments he had done into those. And one of his investments, a Lenskart one, it actually had turnover or whatever the earnings of his was around 28 times of what he had invested,
mm,
which
yeah.
is like really, 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 really huge, right? So coming from a business background, his father was a very well leading Jamshedji Tata. He was one of the leading businessman and a philanthropist here in India. So he carried over that legacy. He built
Mm,
over that legacy from 5 billion to like, billions of dollars.
mm,
And, we talk in the business world and we talk about something, two concepts called as quadruple bottom line,
mm,
which means we take care of the planet, right? We take care of the profits of a company. We
mm,
take care of people, and then we also take care of the purpose of the company.
yes.
So he actually comes and covers into all those four things beautifully.
Mm,
And the purpose thing, the purpose, when we talk about this concept, I'm going to interlink it with another concept called as CSR,
mm,
corporate social responsibility. These concepts we teach, we give examples, but when we talk about actual contributions, the ground level contributions,
yeah.
so you might be surprised to know that his donations have exceeded $1.2 billion
Correct.
coming from a business family. I think that's really, really huge of what he has done. And I'm like really, really impressed, and something which and that is exactly the reason why the entire business community, the charity community, the kids, I don't know, everyone over here and across the world seem
Mm,
to be really, really grieving it. So that's from the business perspective. I've given some facts and figures just to for people to understand his
yeah.
contribution, and it's at another level of personality we are talking over here. So, Shailesh, I think if you can speak about more from his humanitarian perspective would be good.
Yeah, but I'll add to that, continuing your resonating and then what you said about businesses. And I wanted to just add to that an extension of it. How did it start? It like, okay, when you start a business or when you do a startup or whatever, as you rightly said, the purpose. And what he did, he had a legacy from his father. But as you said, he has multi-folded, continued and increased, not because he had a base, but because he had a vision. And I think what he touched on is the basic fundamentals for him was to do business, I need people. And as you said, I need the planet, I need the people, and I need the purpose. And so when you look at all the things, what is the people need? The basic amenities to survive or to grow. And so what are those things? So if you look at his products, if you look at it's all related to people and it's all mattered to people, whether it is food, whether it is, accessories, comforts, basic food or comforts or luxuries, he was there into it. He made a difference to every single person, so people, as we said. So I think from that point of view, and why people are grieving for all the people, it doesn't matter what nationality, what culture, what language, doesn't matter. They all come because he took care of the products that are used by people. He took care of all the businesses that people need to grow, that people need to expand their life and lifespan. So when it talks about education, when you talk about health, when you talk about food, this is what human first and foremost need. And if you look at all his businesses, whether it is, cancer society, cancer hospital that he invented, whether the education, the research, whether the consultancy services and the research and development, all of the things where people were involved, and that's what they grow, and they grow, all the people grew with him. So I personally feel it's a very interesting character. This man had the vision that how can you grow multi-fold and how can you still do charity. That's a mind-boggling question for all the business community that we will be touching on. And if they want to know more about it, they should more do research. But I personally have this experienced that whatever, when we grew up as a child in India, and we could only see Tata, basic Tata salt or Tata soap or Tata, you know, all sorts of Tata products that are resonating to us. That's why we are emotionally connected with his products. And these products, I personally feel 99% never failed in my life that I have seen. Whereas when I see today businesses, they fail quite fast because there is no purpose. There is no people. They only look at profits, and they look at profits from the people, but there is no giving back to the people. So I think that's what I see Ratanji Tata as an icon became because he had first put people first. Now, I wanted to touch on that over profits, and that's what there was a slogan in COVID as well that, people over profits and profits over people. So that was already lived by Sir Ratanji Tata even before COVID came. So COVID doesn't have to tell him what is required first when you do a business. And I think this will be a great lesson for every one of us and who are listening as a business people, all the businesses. Yes, it is for people who want to do business, they can look up to their, mentor, they can look up to their industrialists. But if you really want to become a business of that size with charity as a purpose or with people as a purpose, then I don't see any in my era at least that I can pinpoint any other business other than Sir Ratanji Tata. So that's the business aspect. Now, coming to the humanitarian, I think this is where I wanted to talk a little bit about his humanitarian aspects because he never thought that he should be just because he's owner of so and so billion worth, his net worth is so much, so he should be traveling in this and this way only and that way only, and his lifestyle should be in a big bungalow or a big house. Not of that sort. So that was his humbleness that we have witnessed as a child, as a teenager now, that he just was in his two-bedroom hall, kitchen, bath flat, and not as a bungalow or not as a big house or a mansion. He could afford everything, but he didn't. There are so many anecdotes and so many incidents where he has shown his kindness and humbleness to people. Even like, having meal with the workers having, washing dishes along with his workers. You can't get anything better than this of from a businessman or so-called businessman. So his business ideology is different to what business ideology normally 99% businesses think, that my ideology is only to make profits. If I don't get profit, I don't waste my time. That's how people see the businesses, whereas he was totally opposite. No, I have to waste time, I have to listen to people. Even as a director, as a shareholder, there are a lot of incidents and anecdotes that tell us that he used to go in the meetings, in the board meetings, he used to listen to everyone. He used to give platform and opportunity to talk to everyone and listen to them. And that's how he grew up his trust. And I think that is the biggest name that Tata is related to, is his name trust. And when I say trust, who are the people that you trust? It comes to my mind is your immediate family. It comes to my mind that your mom and dad, that you can easily blindfoldly trust. But here is Ratanji Tata, sir. He was exactly like your family. You can trust his brand. You can invest on his company without any hesitation. And I have never heard of any story where people have invested and failed. And he's been going on for the more than 150 years. So just imagine that one. I also want to touch on the Indian business and Indian economy that was flourished. If you look at before we got independence, India was not that great in terms of the economy and all that. At that time, he was the instrumental in shaping up India's economy, in shaping up India's sufficing the requirements of the Indian people. At that time, also, we had a good number of population. But look at the way he has conducted himself, and he has put India on the international map because his presence is there at the moment in 150 countries. It's not just India. And so when you look at all these things, and independence, before independence and after independence, he was growing only India. He was not taking anything from India, but he was giving to India. And that is the humanitarian aspect that I see. He had so much of opportunity at that time, yet he was never finishing, like thinking that, oh, it's not enough for him to do. And he kept doing, kept diversifying, kept multiplying his industries. So when you look at, and that's why he has, we had about like 30, 29, 30 states. And if you look at many of the states, his contribution is can be obviously seen and developed and still created a legacy for his own, continuing this journey that he had. So I think I personally feel that when you look at his larger than life contribution to the country of who had a population which was not even earning money. And imagine when you don't have a population which is earning money, and yet you develop that concept and you develop a business. I cannot see anything other businessman doing that same or similar way of business. So I really feel that not just business, as a humanitarian, as a human, he has contributed immensely. And what at a time when there are struggles, at a time where there are so many challenges, there were no infrastructures, but he went on to create from basic to growth. And so that is what his contribution is, not just after growing, his contribution is right from the basic. So whether we want to put in infrastructure, whether you want to create a organization where you can help, and whether it is his health. So look at the way he has made India and Indians, all the people in India, he has, taken care of the health so that they can survive and they can contribute. But then he also have made so many things that humans are so much proud of him, proud of this organization, that I think that I want to mention here a couple of things where when the his hotel was attacked by terrorists. He was not in media for any wrong reasons or doing this and doing that or going negative. He was always positive. And that is something shows that he stood. And after, I think, 2.5 years or 2 years and 11 months or something like that, right, he reinstated the Taj. But he did not made anybody redundant. He did not made anybody lose their job. And what a man. You can't get a businessman like this. No matter how much you have money, you should have an attitude to treat. Money is not the thing. And even during COVID, he has not made any, like, layoffs. Nobody lost jobs, okay, during COVID as well. So I think if you look at from that angle, whether it is COVID, whether it is terrorist attack, whether it is all those natural calamities he faced or his company faced, the employees were always protected. The people were always protected, irrespective of where they come from. And that's the beauty of a humanitarian. I can go on this humanitarian, which will not even finish this episode, but it will take ages to do that because it's you just can't finish this topic. So I think in my sense as a humanitarian, with these two, three incidents, you can see people are ready to lose jobs. People are ready to lay off. People don't want to, spend money on things where they can't get money because business is what? If you don't get money, then you stop that business. Okay. Whereas his business doing is different. If you don't get money, that's okay. He was so positive. He was so hopeful as his visions were. And in business, only people who have visions stand tall. And I think that's what he did. That's what he's standing tall even today. Even after this, he's gone. I think he has created a legacy that I'm confident that it will be continued by his successors. That's what I can see. What do you think, Shirali?
Absolutely. No, absolutely, because this point which you raised about when his hotel was under attack. So again, I was in India at that time when that incident had happened.
Hmm.
So and he was outside the hotel for 3 days.
Right.
He didn't leave the staff. He didn't, and he even continued. You said he didn't make the staff redundant. He
Mm.
also continued paying them the normal wages. And I believe that if I remember correctly, people who lost their lives there were some 11 to 12 staffers who lost their lives. So he continued paying their families then and not
Absolutely.
leaving the ground for 3 days. I think that in itself speaks. And there were other, like, the net worth of his group, the
Mm.
Tata group, as such, the net worth is in, like, I think around $35 trillion, and out of which his personal net worth is just maybe just 1% of that, his personal assets and all.
Yeah.
So you own something worth of 33 trillion, which is like a GDP of a big country, like almost a GDP of a country, and then in for yourself you're keeping only 1%. But there was one more incident which I heard in the news yesterday, in fact, which I was quite I would say pleasantly surprised that he was supposed to be, we talk about people, we've been talking
Yeah.
about his humanitarian things about the people.
Mm.
So his humanitarian things for animals, which
Yeah.
not many, which not many people might be aware of. He had a pet dog, and he
Mm.
was supposed to be given some kind of an honor by the Buckingham Palace few years back
Right.
by the then Prince Charles himself, and he
Mm.
everything was ready. He was all good. It was a big award to be given over there, and a day before or on the same day when the award ceremony was there, he didn't come. He said, "I cannot come," and they asked him what is the reason, because it's such a big honor for you. He's like, "My pet dog isn't well."
Yes. Yes, I heard
So
that. Yeah. 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 What
I was like,
amazing.
wow, and they're like, but he, like, there are some people who can take care of him, right? Or if he's
Yeah.
not well, he can be taken to a vet or something. He's like, no, I can't leave him.
But that
So
is the beauty, isn't that is the beauty of a human.
yes, so when they passed on this message to Prince Charles, instead of
Mm.
getting upset, he was like, now that is the kind of person.
Mm.
That is the reason we were trying to give him an honor, because we know, and he isn't willing to. People
Mm.
would die for an award like that, and from
Yes.
Buckingham Palace, from a Prince Charles. But he said, "No, my pet dog isn't well."
Well, see, that is the talking about these beautiful anecdotes and beautiful awards that he was showered by our
Padma
country.
Vibhushan, that's the second
And
highest.
yeah,
Second highest national award for India is called as Padma Vibhushan. So he's an
yes,
awardee, and there have been lots of talks in the media now that I
we
think,
should
in
get
fact,
that.
Maharashtra Bharat Ratan is the highest one. So there have been, I think, Maharashtra cabinet or the state
Yeah,
has pushed for it. So there is a lot of things which people are talking about that he should be awarded that
yes,
posthumous, but we will
yeah.
have to wait for that. Yeah.
Yes, but I think that's what he said. A few years ago, also, he was pushed for Bharat Ratna Award, the highest civilian of Indian award. However, he
Hmm.
said at that time that, don't give me any awards or push for
Yeah,
anything.
he didn't make any. I think at that age when you have seen so many things, awards
Mm,
are the last things which, and he does, like he doesn't have any family as such. He does have a half brother, but he
yeah.
doesn't have any wife. So these things didn't matter to him. These awards after and all those. So
And I think that's the trust is the beautiful thing that he has achieved all these years.
Hmm,
And that itself is a highest civilian award that anybody can get at.
absolutely,
Rather than
absolutely.
academically, he doesn't want anything academically. He has got amazing trust factor developed all these years. So I think Bharat Ratna is just an will be an academic for him, but he already has got award from the
Yeah,
people of India and
yeah,
from the people all
absolutely.
around
I
the
could
world.
say, as I told you, people stopped celebrating in between. No, we have something called as Garba dance,
Yeah.
which is done during Navratri. So people just canceled the events.
Yes. Yes.
So I haven't seen that happening for any businessman anywhere. So quite
Exactly. And this is what, that's why I don't call him just a business. And yeah, businessman, but what he showed to the world is businessman can be a human and businessman
should be a. Not
can
can, should. We talk
should
about
be.
corporate, so we talk
Yeah,
about
I
CSR. In New
agree.
Zealand, we talk a lot about corporate social responsibility, and
Yeah.
we have 90, I think 90% of companies do follow that sincerely as well, but up to
Mm,
their extent, how much ever they can.
yeah.
So that concept of CSR combined with quadruple bottom line, I think that's something which we usually look up to the Western countries for this. We usually
Mm,
think these are all Western concepts. But
yeah.
then we have lots of examples, and he's the prime example of what
Oh,
a good
yeah.
CSR can be.
Absolutely. I think it's amazing to have we also even to get an opportunity to talk about this giant like person where we just can't remove from our memory because he is embedded in our heart, mind, and soul. And I think that itself gives us like so much of not just emotions, but it's so much of connection and that connection, we take it further to this generation and the next generation. And which is what I say that, he has lived his life with a legacy when he's alive. He has left a legacy, he has created a legacy, and he will be remembered throughout every single aspect when happens. He's not remembered for his name, but his contribution, his implementation, his products, his services that he has created, that we will never ever be able to forget because we will require these services forever until human are alive and exist in this planet. We will need the services which he has created, and that's what absolute responsibility for any businessman, that you can create money, but when you create money, what do you do with the money? That's a $1 million question every businessman should be answering to themselves. Okay, I can create money this way and that way, but then what do I do with the money? And how do I create a legacy? This is a prime example of a legacy. So I think, Shirali, this is something that I definitely wanted to do this, and for a reason that all our businesses, communities, whether they are business or not, but all the people. to start with, should be remembered and should be trying to take a little slight value of this in their life so that they can become also a light. Because Sir Ratanji Tata is a light, is a hope, and is a completely healer, I would say. Because you need this healing for every human from time to time. So what's your last words for this beautiful personality? And then I will finish up with my last words as well, Shirali.
Uh, I think this my last words would be for I would be specifically for him. I would say Om Shanti Om, may he rest in peace. And may even if 10, I would not say 1%, but 10%, because the world today needs 10% of his goodwill to travel, and people to take example from him. I think we would be in a much better place. But from my end, I just wish him to take rest and
Hmm.
maybe be reincarnated again into
Yeah,
and help the world again.
I agree 100%. Couldn't agree more than that. So I'm going to end up like this to all the listeners who are listening to me. This is my utmost pleasure to talk about this great personality, and I am lucky. So I can say one thing I'll read out is like, once in a lifetime, a soul comes and will be continuing to heal many souls in the coming generations by touching the core values of humanity. I am blessed to have born in an era where our Sir Ratanji Tata was present and to witness itself a journey of true humanity. I salute you to your contribution to the world and giving hope to our nation, India. You are a true father of nation. Hope the current generation take a tiny value of yours, which can become a light for many souls. So, condolences to all of us who you made your family, and wishing your soul will have blissful moments forever, our dearest Ratanji Tata. So, there was a one, just to end it, one media person said that, in India, and we know that we say Tata when we say goodbye, and his surname is Tata, like we say goodbye. But he said, the media guy said, I don't want to say Tata. I don't want to say goodbye to you. So I will just leave it Ratanji. We won't say Tata. It is, you will always be forever. Thank you, everyone, to all the listeners. This is my utmost pleasure to pay a tribute to this wonderful human being. With that, I end up this episode, and we will come back once again with more details about this personality. So, something that everybody can take out of a leaf out of it. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Shailesh.